I consider this worst Pokemon series to be the main series on my channel. They are my favorite videos to make and you guys seem to really enjoy it. This series is designed to focus more on the competitive aspect of Pokemon, which people don't always understand. I still get tons of hate comments on the Glaceon video, especially from Glaceon fans complaining who completely missed the point of the video. I hate to break it to you, but Glaceon isn't that good competitive. I've also gotten many requests to do Pokemon that aren't fully evolved, despite saying in nearly every video that Pokemon that aren't fully evolved are excluded. Today, we're just gonna say screw it, since not a day goes by where I check my YouTube comments and I see somebody commenting on a worst Pokemon video saying I should do a video on Magikarp. Think of this episode more of a parody episode, not a proper worst Pokemon episode, since in this video we'll be discussing if Magikarp is the worst Pokemon or not. Leave a comment down below letting me know what Pokemon you want to see featured in this series in the future, but before you do so, please check out the full playlist in the description to see if I've made a video on the Pokemon yet, and please do not recommend a Pokemon that isn't fully evolved, although today's video is about a Pokemon that isn't fully evolved. If you guys are unfamiliar in this series, blah blah blah, you know the drill. We look at bad Pokemon, rate them 1 to 5 based on these categories, blah blah blah, smash that like button. So to give a brief overview on Magikarp, Magikarp is a mono water type Pokemon introduced in Generation 1 with the abilities Rattled and Swift Swim. Magikarp has an amazing stat line of 20 HP, 10 attack, 55 defense, 15 special attack, 20 special defense, and 80 speed. There is so much I could say about this Pokemon, so let's just hop right into the negatives. So the first negative, very obvious, you have very low offenses. 10 attack and 15 special attack are really bad. You also have very low defenses. Your highest defensive stat is 55 in HP, and you only have 20 HP. Very, very low. You are not going to be able to take very many hits at all. The next negative is you only have 7 moves. I don't mean 7 usable moves, I mean literally 7 moves. Now, it used to have Dragon Rage in Generations 1 and 2, but for some reason it doesn't have it in Generation 3 on, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe Magikarp will get Dragon Rage back with the virtual console releases of the Generation 2 games, but I guess we'll see later. It also has only one stab move in Hydro Pump. Now, Hydro Pump itself is a pretty good move, but when that's your only stab option, a move that isn't even that accurate, really not the best thing. And the last negative, it's a Magikarp. It's just a Magikarp, that's it. And now on to the positives. And would you believe there's actually more positives than negatives? Somehow I managed to find more positives, I have no idea. First positive, it's only 500 Pokédollars in the Pokemon Center in front of Mount Moon. That's a steal. That's a nice water type you can get early on, evolve it at level 22 a Gyarados, you got yourself a decent Pokemon in the first generation games. The second positive is you can use this thing to EV train for speed. That is kind of cool. I used to do that in X and Y, EV train on the Magikarps for speed, there you go. They're also pretty easy to shiny hunt for. If you're new to shiny hunting, you want it easy to get shiny, you can just fish for a Magikarp. Next positive, it evolves to Gyarados, one of the greatest Pokemon ever. Not really greatest competitively, but one of the most recognizable, most loved Pokemon in the franchise. Gyarados, great Pokemon. Next positive, you get Swift Swim. Now, 80 base speed and Swift Swim is actually pretty good on a Pokemon that has offensive stats to utilize Swift Swim, which Magikarp does not. You have access to the Happy Hour as well, which is kind of funny, but again, this would be much better on a Pokemon that can actually, use the offensive capabilities that the Happy Hour gives you. It also has its own mobile game called Magikarp Jump, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have played, and if you haven't, it's free, it's fun to play. That's positive, I guess. So I know most of those positives really weren't about the Pokemon itself, but let's go on to the recommended set anyway. The first set, really nothing too crazy here. Magikarp with a Choice Scarf because 80 speed actually isn't that bad. Swift Swim because it's the only really useful ability. Max Attack, Max Speed, Jolly Nature, Happy Hour, just as filler because there's really no other move, Tackle, Flail, and Bounce. Now, Hydro Pump you could put on this thing, but I believe Hydro Pump can only be obtained through some really weird event, so getting Hydro Pump Magikarp is pretty hard, which basically means the thing only has 6 moves, which is even worse. And Smogon actually didn't even have a recommended set because Magikarp is that useless, so if you really want to use Magikarp, I guess this is the set for you. Now for some improvements, since this is an NFE, this is kind of really a weird area to talk about improvements, I would just say level it up to 20 and evolve to Gyarados. That's the biggest reason why I don't feature NFEs on the series, is because a lot of the times when they evolve, they just get a lot better. And now on to the ratings. In terms of offense, this should be no surprise, but Magikarp gets a 0 out of 5. You have 10 attack and 15 special attack. I really don't think I need to explain that any further. For defense, I'll also give Magikarp a 0 out of 5. You have 20 HP in special defense, and you have 55 defense. I guess that makes Magikarp more bulky than offenses, since the defenses are higher than its attack stats, but it's still pretty bad. For versatility, I'll give this thing a 0 out of 5 as well. It's Magikarp. There's really nothing you can do with this. It only has 6 moves, which leads me on to my next point. Movepool, 0 out of 5. Magikarp has access to less moves than I have fingers, which really isn't that many. And for Viability, Magikarp gets a 0 out of 5. Even in Little Cup, this thing is really bad. You have virtually no reason to use a Gyarados over just about any other Pokemon unless you want to evolve into a Gyarados in-game. That's literally the only reason. And that is Magikarp. Is Magikarp the worst Pokemon? It probably is. Let me know what you think of Magikarp in the comments down below, and let me know what you think of this new parody type format to the worst Pokemon series. Now, traditionally, we look at Pokemon from competitive analysis. It's a very somewhat serious video. This one was just a joke, more of a parody. If you enjoy this stuff, maybe I'll do more like this in the future, but I think the next video will focus more on the competitive aspect of the worst Pokemon. I do still get comments about Bidoof as well as Magikarp as I did in the past, so maybe if you guys like this, I could do one on Bidoof as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys next time, and bye-bye.